Hey guys, long time no see.
I seem to have forgotten my YouTube login for a year and a half, but let's forget about that, and I'm gonna show you guys a bunch of beat making shortcuts that will speed up your workflow. You'll beat beat block, you can be lazy, you can put in no effort, you can have no talent, whatever, I don't know. The first method I'm showing, you're gonna wanna make a little starter. So I have this 8-bar loop that I made. You're gonna wanna export it, and then you're gonna wanna get the Splice desktop app, go over to the Create tab, and then you're gonna wanna start with your loop. We're gonna load our sound in here, and check this box down here. They're gonna steal my identity, no! That box you check actually allows them to take your social security number. And now this stuff doesn't matter. I'm just gonna click multiple instruments and all genres, and I'm gonna say add layers myself. Now here we have this menu where if you hover over one of these boxes, you can pick all of these different categories and it will add stuff based on the starter you made. If you click the others tab, it will add like song starters, and honestly I like the stuff they have in here. So I'm gonna start with others, but just know that if you want a specific sound, you could be like, oh, I want soul sounds, I want trap sounds, I want ambient sound, and a lot of those categories are really cool. But yeah, we're gonna click others and it's gonna add a layer on top of our loop. As you can tell, it kind of follows the chord progression that we did. They have some sort of technology that detects the bass notes and does similar chords. Let's just add a bunch of sounds in here. Let's do others. Let's do effects. Let's do leads. Let's do vocals. And if you don't like one of the layers, for instance, these ones are similar, so we could solo it and then have it do new ones. If you press this button, it will add a new layer in that same category. Honestly, that sounds pretty crazy, and it's all just from like sounds that are within Splice, so you don't have to clear anything. But yeah, once you get a bunch of layers you like, you can just click save. It will give you a random name. Ethereal Arps, Grainy Harmony, first time doing robot, we can call it that. You want to go into your stacks, view samples, click here, and you can export it as stems, so then it's super easy to load into FL. It'll just cost us 7 measly credits. Honestly, that's cool with me. But we're gonna click that. It's gonna download to our downloads folder, and now we can open that up, drag it back into FL. The first stem is going to be what we originally had, so we can delete that. But yeah, now we got mad layers that got added with basically no effort. Usually what I do is I'll just go through individually. I'll route them all somewhere, and I'll also route the original sounds I had somewhere, and we can just go through, mix them together, add effects. We don't want to be too lazy. Yeah, let's see what we got. Now that we got some effects on all those new layers from Splice, I'm just gonna make stems out of this as if it's a loop. And then we're gonna select all of it and hit Option Command C to render it, just so that then it's easier to pitch all of it and we don't have to go in each audio file and individually pitch them. Because I feel like if we pitch this, it'll sound cool. Now we just have to delete all that and chop it out. I'm not as fast as I used to be, but back in my day, super speed, you know, super speed. All right, now that we got it stemmed out, I'm just gonna arrange the loop a little bit. I might pitch it down some, space out the sections. Not every layer is playing the whole time. There was one that I really liked from Splice. Yeah, that one sounds cool. Maybe that with one of the vocals. All right, we pitched it around a little bit. We affected some of the layers in there, but originally it sounded like this. With all the Splice stuff added and some effects, it sounds like this. And we also got this cool section afterwards. I like this part a lot. But that just shows that using the Splice Create feature, you could just make a little starter and then add a bunch of stuff in Splice, affect it, mix it around. No one's even gonna know. I'm not condoning laziness or anything, but if you're having an off day and you got the loop quota to meet, definitely a cool method that you can use to be a little lazy. All right, guys, our next way to be lazy is take old FLPs you have, replace the melodies, and put new melodies in there. Because honestly, a lot of drums in songs these days are mad similar. So I have this beat I made on stream the other day. And I'm gonna just go find a loop. I'm gonna delete all the melodies out of this, so we just have the drums. I'm gonna show you how easy it is to make it a whole new beat just by putting a new melody in there. All right, I got this loop from my friend Soda. I'm gonna load it in the project file. We're gonna match the BPM, put this on a stretch, trim the MP3 beginning. You may be thinking, these are in different keys. This isn't gonna work. That's all right, man. We're just gonna switch around the 808s to go along with the new loop, but we're gonna keep all the other drums. So let's listen to it, and then I'm gonna switch around the 808s. Definitely sounds a little messed up, but nothing a little changing the 808s can't fix. And there we go. We just gotta trim the loop at the end, duplicate it over, boom, 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 and we have a whole new beat. No one's gonna even know. The next thing you guys should be doing to be super lazy is save your mixer presets when you do some cool effects. So for instance, I got this little folder. I'm gonna just put some of these mixer presets on random channels, and then I'm gonna make a little starter, and it's gonna sound good without me having to really do much of anything. So we're just gonna get keyscape, I'll get piano, do a little MIDI. That sounds nice. I'm gonna pitch it down the octave. I'm gonna cut some of these notes so they don't overlap. And I'm gonna put it on an ARP as well, because ARPs are awesome. That's another one. If you get like Electra or one of those VSTs that have lots of ARPs in it, and you could just make a MIDI, copy it on there, it's gonna sound cool. But we're just gonna route these on these channels that we have those effects presets on. So let's pitch it around a little more. I bet it's gonna sound cool off it. Okay, it doesn't sound cool, but hear me out, guys, hear me out. Let's put it on a different preset. We're gonna pitch it up a bunch, up 14. Man, that sounds cool. I feel like that sounds pretty cool. We didn't really have to do much of anything. You could just send that to your friend as a starter and they'll finish it for you. But definitely save mixer presets. Let's do it for a lead now. I'm gonna go in Hive. I'm gonna find a little lead. That might sound a little dry, a little boring. Don't worry, we're gonna put this guy on there. It's gonna sound great. I'm not even worried about it. Now, this sounds a little bit affected, so you definitely, maybe you want to mix in some more layers that don't have the effects on there. I'm gonna copy the MIDI back over onto some random preset. I'm gonna pitch it again, maybe down 2. But we really just made a whole crazy sounding melody. I didn't have to put in all the effort doing all those effects. Definitely, whenever you make a cool effects chain, whether it's some shaper box, some cymatics illusion, whatever it is, definitely save your presets for later. So then when you're feeling a little tired, a little burnt out, you could just have some creative, intricate sounding stuff without putting in all that effort. I'm actually gonna use the starter that we just made to show another method. So we're gonna open up a piano and we're just gonna do the same chords that we did here. So I'm gonna copy the MIDI. Boom, we got the MIDI. I'm gonna export it. I'll just put it on my desktop. And for this, you're going to need Playbox by Native Instruments. So I'm gonna load up my contact. Loading, 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 loading. 7 hours later, we're gonna open up Playbox, and I actually have an instance of it that I saved as a patcher preset. Now, that doesn't even make sense to me, but basically if you have an instance of a VST that you like, but there's no way to save the preset, let's say we like this keyscape, you can just go up here and save it as a preset if you need it later. But I got this patcher preset of this instance of Playbox, and the cool thing about Playbox is you can go in here and load in all your own one-shots, and then you can go over into the chords and we can take our MIDI and load it in there, and now we got our chords from the starter we just made, and it's just gonna route it to the keyboard. Man, that shit sounds crazy already. So you just want to find where it routed it, make it line up with your beat, and we got a whole layer added with no effort, just taking our MIDI and putting it through Playbox. So just to recap, for those of you trying to do this, you want to go into the samples section, click on this little icon, and you're gonna drag in up to 91 shots into each of these categories. And then in here, you just want to select all user, so it will use the one shots you have saved. Then you go into the chord section, drag in your MIDI, and you'll be able to see on here where it put it on the keyboard. Yeah, this with some of those other things we have added, it'll probably sound crazy. Now for peak laziness, you could just duplicate that instance of Playbox over and over again, copy the same MIDI, and then they have this randomize feature. If you go in samples, you just click the dice and it will give you new sounds every time. Part of the reason why it sounds so crazy is I have this effects preset in here. I actually have a lot of different effects. I just have my own user one that I made. If you want to copy it, some strum, some lo-fi. If we turn off the effects, it will just do straight chords for us. Now, let's say you like that first chord but not the second one. There's this dice that just is for the second chord. So we go click that, and then we'll keep the first chord but not the second one. And we could just keep doing that until we like how it sounds. I like that. Let's do it again. Randomize. They also have their own presets in there. I'm gonna just render this as a loop now. Duplicate it over a bunch. And fuck it, I'm gonna just select this, render it, take this, go like this. It's probably gonna sound crazy. That's pretty nice. As you can see, Playbox, super nice. If you want, go look up more tutorials. Someone will probably be a little more in-depth than I was. Definitely one of my favorite ways to add layers when I'm not sure what to add. For our last method, we're gonna go back in time, back into the Splice app. Let's say you wanna be peak laziness, even more lazy, even more no effort. You don't have to start with your own loop. You could just start with Splice sounds and then flip that into something. I like the ambient category. I like the soul one. The live one is cool. Doesn't really matter. Let's go ambient, and we're gonna delete what they had and just start adding stuff. I'm gonna add a bunch of layers and then we'll figure out what sounds good. That took me like 7 seconds. You can control the BPM up here, can change it, the key right here. And just like with the other one we were doing, we can just save it, go into our stacks, view samples, click on stems, and it's gonna export it in a little folder. And I'm gonna just make a beat over it really quick, so at least I did something on here. Like I was doing before, I'm gonna duplicate it over a bunch, and the way I'm doing this is I just select all of it, hold down Shift Command, and then click in a little staircase, and then do Command X, and then do Option Command C. That way we have it as one audio file and it's not all separate, so that then you can pitch it and you don't gotta go in every single file and pitch them. And I'll probably pitch it maybe up some. And I'm gonna go drums first, and then we'll add some more melody around it. We're gonna play a little game. I'm not gonna listen to it until I add a bunch of stuff. And we're gonna see how it sounds as a little test. Let's get a snare. Do we have a snare? Let's get an open hat. Maybe 2 open hats. Let's get 808. I'm gonna add some melody too. I'm gonna go in Hive, get maybe a little lead or a pluck or something. And we're gonna use the method we did before, just put it on some random effects, and let's see how we're sounding. Sounds all right. It's getting there. Maybe we could try pitching it down a little bit. So I'm gonna pitch it down 5, and I might slow it down a bit too. All right, now we're gonna give it the little slow down or speed up treatment. I like doing this just to see if maybe it would sound better in a different key or a different speed. So I just have the beat rendered out. I'm gonna slow it down first. That's cool. I think that sounds cool. Now that we added a bunch of stuff, I'm gonna just arrange this a bit, take out stuff in certain sections. Might change the bass notes. Well, we went on a little journey there, and it sounded a little scary for a tiny bit, but I think I flipped this pretty well. But all those splice sounds are still in there, which is cool. And I also used some ARPs and some effects presets, so I'm really utilizing, you know, practice what you preach and all that. But I'll give this beat a play.
Well, I think that about does it.
I appreciate you guys for watching, for sticking around, because I was gone for a whole year and a half. I missed you guys. I'm gonna keep doing YouTube. I'll see you guys in a week. Let me know if you guys have any lazy producer hacks or any other YouTube ideas. I'm gonna be over on Twitch every once in a while too, so I'll link that somewhere down there. But I'll catch you guys next time.
Adios.